You know who this guy is. This is Tony, the Tiger, Lopez. In this one, I feel like we should say in this corner.
Yeah, right. In the old corner.
And what was it? You started your boxing career in what year?
A pro or amateur?
How old were you when you started boxing?
10.
10.
So 73.
73. Yeah. And then by the late to mid 80s, you were a professional, right?
Early 80s, 83, I turned professional.
Okay.
And then behind everybody's wishes. And then 88, I won my first title and I went on from there.
Yeah, you had three-time champ.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so
15 world title fights, won 3 titles in 3 different weight divisions.
Now, the question I've always wanted to ask a professional boxer, because I came from playing soccer and I worked out every day. Every day I was practicing. How much work per day, how much working out are you doing every day as a professional boxer?
Well, as a preliminary coming up, you have to work because you don't make no money. Right. So you have to get a job, and after your job, you get up before the job, you go to work. Even if you get I worked at 6, so I got up at 4, and I got up and did my running, came back, had breakfast, went to work, came back, and go to the gym, come back, have dinner, come back, go after dinner, rest with it, and go to another gym at night, do some more cardio at a health club. So I was working out maybe 4 to 6 hours a day, depending on what day it was.
Yeah, that's what I always kind of imagine. That road work, the running, I mean, is really important because you need that fitness, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just to compete. Right?
No, yeah, you do. And there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, every trainer is different, and I think what I did is I listened to everybody. If my trainer didn't care what other trainers said to me. If he said, if they're trying to help me, he doesn't help me. He goes, hey man, you might learn something new from someone else. He goes, maybe something I didn't know. He goes, so listen to it. He goes, I tried it 1,000 times. If it doesn't work, throw it away. Right. So I did, and I learned my best punch. It was called an overhand right. Well, and I learned that from a guy in my amateur careers. When I was coming back from Washington Neighborhood Center, back in the day, I trained at Washington Neighborhood Center for once in a while. I was coming home one day. I was on 15th coming home towards Broadway. And on our street, there's a railroad crossing. Well, back in the day, they had telephone booths. Okay. And I needed to borrow a telephone, so I pulled over and put your 25 cents or 10 cents, whatever it was. And I'm on the phone, and some homeless guy comes off the tracks right there because it's right there by the tracks. Right. And he goes, yeah, "You're that boxer guy, huh?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Hey man," he goes, "I'll tell you a secret punch if you give him $1 or whatever." Right. And he looked homeless, but didn't look that homeless. I'm going, all right.
What do I got to lose?
Yeah, $1, okay. And so the guy starts telling me, he goes, he explained this whole thing to me. First round, you jab in the face, you make sure he's looking at you, you look at him, jab in the face, and when he's looking at you, look at his stomach, drop down, and throw a jab to his body. So every time, and do it a couple times the first round. He goes, in the second round, you can get it going. He goes, so when you drop down, he goes, what happens is when you look, he's going to see you look. And then you drop down and he's going to think you're going to throw that jab straight to his body. But what you do is come back on overhand right.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going,
It's worth $1.
He's kind of right. So I tried it in the gym. And it didn't work every time and all the time. But when it worked, it worked really well. Wow. And it's worked in a few of my pro fights.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
So whoever that guy was, thank you, buddy.
Yeah. Probably a former boxer, I'm thinking.
Maybe.
Must have been.
Yeah, he had to be.
To know that.
And I didn't even know.
That sounds like a Hollywood movie, doesn't it?
Right?
I mean,
a little bit, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy because all the stuff that you don't really, you just live life because you're fighting and you're doing what you do. Everybody just does what they're doing. Even what you do, you never really take for granted what you're learning or where you're going or who you're
just
meeting.
don't put it all together and this makes me do this a little better or that a little better.
Yeah, so when I retired, you start thinking about your career that you had. Sure. And you start thinking about all the stuff and all the people and all the things you've learned and places you've been. And you know what? This is a pretty interesting life I had. It really was. And because of boxing, I got to do the stuff I got to do. Right. And I got to meet the people I got to meet. It was very, very, very cool.
Yeah, well, I remember when you were in the heat of your career and being a radio personality back in the late 80s is kind of when I started doing the radio thing here in Sacramento and later San Francisco. I would be in a nightclub and you would come in, right? And you were always, I thought the way you handled the crowd, because you were you were that hometown hero that,
Yeah.
I mean, most of us don't ever see that even close up. But just seeing for 10 minutes that you had to walk through a crowd and you tried to be nice to everybody, and I thought you did a great job.
Thank you.
In the sense of how you handled people. You acknowledged everybody, but you kept moving. Right?
Yeah.
You kept moving, you acknowledged everybody, and you kept
better
moving.
keep moving.
Yeah. Don't
I
stop.
had a destination ahead.
In fact, seeing you do that in a nightclub later when I worked in radio in San Francisco, I learned that I better do that because I would have people come up to me and I'd be nice to them, but I'd keep moving through a room. I wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
Right? So you could never have a super extended conversation just because I felt like I can do a 30-second break and be marvelous. But if I stand here and talk for a while, they're going to realize I'm really dumb. Okay?
That's about all you get. It's about that much stuff. I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you miss it?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, really?
10 years ago, I thought I could still do it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Today, don't get it twisted. I think I
Right.
still do it.
Right.
But can I? I went to my bag and hit my bag a few times a few weeks ago for like about 4 or 5 days straight. After that, my wrist was hurting real bad.
Right.
From all the arthritis, and then my elbows are hurting real
Right,
bad.
right,
I'm going,
right.
okay, I'm done.
Yeah. I was playing soccer up into my mid to upper 40s, and I realized that it was an adult walking league, including me. And I was like, because my game was built on speed, and so I mean, I couldn't do that anymore. I just couldn't do that, and my mind still thought I could get around a guy and really run. Right? It was a slow walk. Okay, let's be honest.
Well, you know what? As we get older, although we're getting older, like I can go out and spar with a kid, a young kid, and help him train and stuff. And let me tell you something. Even the young kids, when you help them spar, everybody wants to beat you up.
Right.
No one really wants to
You're the
spar.
name.
Everybody
You're
wants
the
to
name,
beat
yeah.
you up. So that's why I really
Right.
don't do that anymore because you can't really beat up the kids, because they're kids. But
You can't beat up the kids,
yeah,
Tony. Sorry.
but you want to make them learn.
Right.
And
Yeah.
boxing is that different sport.
Yeah, it's solo. I mean,
Yeah.
every other sport is a team sport, and so
Right.
you have 10 other guys, 9 other guys, 4 other guys,
Right.
That you can compare your experiences and learn from and work together. Where you're all alone in the center of that ring. I mean, obviously, you have coaches in the corner saying, "Hey, land this, land that,"
Right.
and you got to go. Well, I would like to. I've tried that several times, and it's not working, or whatever.
Well, you know what? It's like I tell everybody. I've taken more butt whoopings than you're a world champion,
Right.
And you're going to the boxing gym, and you're sparring and getting ready for a fight, and these guys are whooping on you.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, I'm my first day of sparring is not like my last day of sparring.
Right.
My last day of sparring, I'm cleaning the house.
Right.
But you gotta get in that condition. You get
Right.
that timing, and it's
Yeah.
just a lot of stuff. It's not.
Right.
It's not just one day you jump in the ring and you go, oh hey,
Yeah, you don't go from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
You start out like 2/3 speed or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. Definitely.
JD Chandler with us today, famous radio personality, they tell me. I don't know. But
No, I
mean,
told
could
you
be.
that.
Okay, that's where I heard. That's exactly. And, of course, world champion 3 times, Tony the Tiger Lopez with us today talking about his boxing career.